Good morning, everybody. Good to be here. Uh, Great to see you once again. It's such a loving, open community, and it's just my great pleasure to be here with you this morning. So we're in the midst of a lot of change, and just last week I was wearing shorts. Maybe the week before last, I was wearing shorts, and now it's snowing up there for you guys. And it's very cold down here. And so there's a lot of change going on. We have a new president. Um, and so there's a lot of stuff happening. And in the midst of all this change and of all of these new things occurring, we ask the question, what is God giving you? What is God giving me? And the answer to that question is everything. So let's take that into prayer. No, I'm kidding. There's more to talk about. It's true that God gives us everything, but there is a little bit more to say about it than that. Like, for example, what is everything? Merriam-Webster defines everything as all that exists. So God gives us all that exists. And to wrap your brain around that concept, when I think of all that exists, I think of just the universe, all of existence, everything that is here, everything that is here in the universe right now comes from God. So now that we have an understanding of what everything is, let's just stick a pin in that for a second and ask another question. And that question is, why do we need to know what God is giving us? Why do we even ask this question? And the number one answer to that question is gratitude. But it may not be the kind of gratitude that you're thinking of. We're raised to be grateful. Our culture is big on gratitude, on saying thank you. We always raise our kids to say when they've received something, we say thank you. And it's a big part of our culture. And it's really a big part of like every culture around the world. It's kind of a human thing to be grateful and to express gratitude. Just so we know what we're all talking about, the definition of gratitude is the quality of being thankful. It is a readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. So it's really a frame of mind that brings you into an act of gratitude, a thank you. It's really just a frame of mind of gratitude. So we think of gratitude as being a reciprocal exercise. If I do something good for you that you appreciate, then you say thank you. And you feel good about what I've given you. And so you express that as gratitude in your heart, and then that makes an outward expression of thanks. I receive that outward expression of thanks. It makes me feel good because I've just given you something of value, and I feel good that I've contributed to your life. So much so that you mention back to me. And so that makes me feel good, and I am more willing and able to give more so that we can keep this exchange of gratitude going and the cycle of good going and going. Now, that's great. But if I do something for you and you don't say thank you, I might not be as inclined to do that for you again. I may not be as inclined, my heart may not be as open to you to give of myself if I don't feel that myself is appreciated. So that's kind of the shadow of gratitude. If I don't feel it, maybe I can get constricted, not give. And that is the way that we're kind of taught about thanks. And that's the same kind of gratitude cycle that we apply to gratitude towards God. Be grateful or else. Be grateful, show your gratitude, or else God might withhold support from you. God might not be there next time if you don't say thank you. And it's very logical because we do this amongst ourselves. So, of course, we're going to treat our relationship with God in the same way. But I have a secret to give you today, to tell you, and that is that God doesn't need or expect your gratitude as a requirement to give. I'm going to say that again. God doesn't need or expect our gratitude as a requirement to give to you. God doesn't need your gratitude to adjust the quality of its gift to you. God has one purpose, and that is to give, to support, to love, everything equally. Whether you say thank you or not, it doesn't affect God's givingness, God's giving attitude towards you. It has no effect. And it's a good thing that God isn't keeping score about our gratitudes and our thank yous, because there's no possible way that we can be grateful for everything that God does. We're going to miss something. Okay, I can cross the street safely, and oh, thank God I got across the street safely, and I got that, and I feel grateful, and thank you, God, for helping me cross the street safely. And if God were keeping score, God might say something like, "Hey, what about the road that you used to cross? What about the sun that shined on you so you could find your way? What about the clothes that you have on your back? What about the air molecules that I am supporting, that I have created and I am supporting, that you use to live?" We're gonna miss something because God gives everything. It's a good thing that God doesn't keep score on our gratitude and measures every single thing that we get and sees if we're grateful or not. God just gives. So our cycle of gratitude goes from this reciprocal thing outside of ourselves to other people. It changes from an outward cycle to an inward cycle. It changes from gratitude or else to gratitude simply as a source of good in your life. The more we understand that everything comes from God, we can be grateful for more of our lives. And the more good we will experience. If I wake up in the morning and I stub my toe on the bedpost, gratitude is not the first thing that pops into my mind. I might mention God, but it wouldn't be in the form of a thank you. Now, the next morning, I get up, I pay extra attention to where my feet land and to where the bedpost is. And I'm going to make sure that I avoid the bedpost because I don't want to bash my foot again. And I might even turn on a light before I start, moving about the room. But I'm going to pay extra attention and make sure that I don't bash my foot again. So either way, I'm well aware of the danger and how to avoid it. And whoa, I just got a blessing. It just happened. And where was the blessing? Where did the blessing begin? Did it begin when I got up in the morning and I didn't hit my foot? Or did it actually occur when I hit my foot to alert me of a danger that I can avoid in the future? Where did the blessing start? And how much of that blessing can we be thankful for? So the good thing about gratitude is we can apply it anywhere and have the same effect. And we can apply it anywhere throughout time. So it might take me a minute to realize, hey, when I stubbed my toe, that was actually a blessing because I haven't done it since. You might not realize that for like weeks or months down the line. But as soon as you realize it, you can be grateful for it. You can reap the benefits of gratitude. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But we have the option. We all have the power of choice. And we could easily choose to not see God in any of this stuff. We stubbed our toe. Stupid me for not paying attention. I'm going to pay attention in the future. And then you pay attention in the future. You don't stub your toe, and then you move on. You don't have to be grateful for anything. But if we avoid gratitude, if we don't seek out gratitude, then we're leaving so much good that is intended for us to enjoy on the table. We can attribute everything in our lives to God and be grateful for it. So, what are the benefits of gratitude? Why be grateful? Well, luckily, there is a center called the Greater Good Science Center, and they offer a plethora of information on this subject. And they wrote a paper called "The Science of Gratitude." In that paper, they outline several benefits to having a gratitude practice. That's right, practicing gratitude. And these are things for the individual. I'm just going to read off some of these benefits, maybe touch on a couple. But here are the benefits: increased happiness and positive mood, increased satisfaction with life, less materialistic. You may be less likely to experience burnout. You may have better physical health, better sleep, less fatigue, lower levels of cellular inflammation. Lower levels of cellular inflammation just from having a grateful state of mind. One of the first things I learned when I started getting involved with religious science and reading the science of mind was the idea that thoughts are things. And never is it more exemplified than in this practice of gratitude. Merely experiencing and practicing gratitude and having a sense of gratitude can give you lower levels of cellular inflammation and increase your joy. That's taking something from your mind, a state of mind that you have, and it transfers directly into the tissues of your body to heal you, to nurture you. So it's amazing. It will give you greater resiliency. It's the resiliency of knowing that someone, something, some force is on your side. It's with you, it's behind you, it's under you, it's over you. It's in you. Your eternal assistant is there for you at all times. And it's good. And having a gratitude practice steadily remind you of this force for good working all around you and working within you. So when the chips are down, when the rain falls, when unfortunate events occur, when you stub your toe, you can automatically know that you are supported and loved by God, and everything carries a gift for you because God is constantly giving. And lastly, it encourages the development of patience, humility, and wisdom. Gratitude is good and everything that comes with it. So gratitude has all of these benefits and can bring so much good to our lives. I have some good news and some bad news about that. So the bad news is that gratitude is limited. Okay, it's limited because we can only be grateful for what we receive. You have to receive something in order to be grateful for it. That's how gratitude works. So if you're not getting anything, well, there's nothing to be grateful for. So that's the bad news, is that gratitude is limited. But the good news is that you are always receiving. You are always receiving from God. Every time you take a breath, you're receiving from God. Every time you take a step, every time you look outside and you see the sunlight, you see the wind blowing the trees, you are receiving from God. So the good news in this is you have an unlimited capacity to be grateful because you have an unlimited capacity to receive God's gifts. And ultimately, you can be your own source of good just by knowing God's support, just by knowing that God is here with you, giving at all times and always saying yes to you. Now that brings us to today's homework. And I've got 3 things that we can do to increase the gratitude, to increase the experience of gratitude in our lives, and to reap those benefits that we just discussed. Number 1, practice going to gratitude first. When something happens favorable, thank God, God brought it. When something happens that's not favorable, thank God, because the gifts are there. You may not reap them at that very moment. You may not realize them at that moment. But down the line, it's a possibility that you can see whatever is happening, whatever has happened, as just another gift from God that you can be grateful for. Now, I'm not saying that we have an ability always turned on to just turn the most terrible negative thing into a positive thing just immediately. We can get better at it. But the thing is, we may never get to a point where we're absolutely grateful for every single thing that occurs in our lives. But just knowing that that possibility is there and practicing gratitude at a higher level for more things in your life will make you happier. It will bring more joy into your life. Will you be grateful for everything? Well, maybe not, but you'll be grateful for more things. And every time you are grateful, you get the benefits of that gratitude. So, gratitude first. Number 2, expand your definition of good. Sometimes it's good to have the chocolate sundae. You can recognize it. You have it sitting right there in front of you. Boy, this is good. I can't deny this. This is good that I recognize. And then on your way to the table, as you're getting ready to sit down and eat it, you trip. And then the sundae that you just had, this good that you just recognized as good, is now all over the floor. It's everywhere. It's not in your mouth. It's not in your stomach. It is all over the floor. And so you have to clean it up. But having that Sunday land on the floor might have been a good thing for you. Maybe you'll go back and make another Sunday, but maybe you'll make it smaller this time. Or maybe you'll just pay more attention to where you're stepping. Or something. You never know where your good is coming from. It's coming from all angles. We can't pay attention to every angle that our good is coming from. We can only assume that it's there and it's ever present. And a practice of gratitude will help you realize the ever presence of God. So expand your sense of good and apply that to your past. Go back and find events that you can say, hey, you know what? That was good for me. You know, society tells me that that wasn't good, but geez, you know, I reaped the benefit from what happened. I emerged. I endured. I learned something about myself. We can be grateful for a lot more than we currently are. And number 3, do all of this knowing that you're in the constant state of receiving from a God that only gives. That is God's full job. Say yes to what you believe and to manifest that in front of you. That's it. And support the entire universe as well. But that's all that God does, is say yes and give and love and support and nurture and enlighten. So get used to knowing that God. That is the God that we're talking about. That is the God that makes everything possible. That is the God that has brought us all this far, and that will take us all, well, wherever we can believe we can go. And it all starts with gratitude and a realization of what God is giving you right now. So let's take that into prayer. Let's take a deep cleansing breath. Breathing in the gifts of God and exhaling gratitude. And let us say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the one spirit, the one consciousness that is here always. The infinite presence that always gives, that always loves, that is within us and around us, and that comprises us. There is one God, one spirit, one consciousness in, of, and around us all. And we are one with that presence. Just as God is in the great, we are in the small. Just as God is infinite, we are all carrying within us shards of the infinite. All of the love, all of the peace, all of the joy, all of the beauty, all of the light that God is, we are. And I'm thankful to know this. I'm thankful to proclaim it. I'm thankful for the choice to believe it, and I do. And I'm grateful for a loving universe, a giving God that takes my beliefs and manifests them and makes them real right in front of my face. And I believe in God, and I believe in blessings, and I believe in our equality. I believe that just as I have everything that God is, I know that you have that as well. I know that we all share in God's gifts equally. And that God's support is always turned to 11. Maximum love, maximum support at all times. That is just what God is. And I'm grateful to know this and to release it into the mind of a universe that only says yes, yes, yes. And let us all release these words with the words, and so it is. Thank you.